going on, guys? Welcome back to another video here on PM Unfiltered.
The best day of the year. The best day of the year!
Y'all, I'm back. Back in the New York groove. Y'all like my singing? I'm just kidding. Yes, I'm back. I have not been consistent on this channel in so long. There hasn't been a lot of news to talk about. I don't know what's been going on in the past month and a half, but it's just like everybody's been quiet. Everybody's been good. They've been keeping their biz naive to themselves, and I have to applaud them for that. You know what I mean? They keeping their private life actually private, and nothing been coming out. Now it's good for them, but it's not good for us because then we can't report or anything. So, in order for me to keep consistent, the news stories that I feel like are not worthy to talk about, I'm just going to report them. Even if it's a quick 4 or 5 minute video, I'm just going to report them. And then you guys decide if you want to listen to it. And then what I'm going to do, is I'm going to start incorporating real life news stories because I have my opinions on a lot of them. And I just wanted to voice them on my channel and then also kind of get you guys' opinions as well on a story. So definitely look out for that very, very soon. But let's get into this video and the topics on hand, and that is the Housewives. We're going to talk about housewife in Potomac, a couple of housewives in Atlanta, and a housewife in Beverly Hills. So let's get started. We're going to kick it off with Miss Wendy and her husband, Mr. Eddie Asefo. Y'all already know what's been going on with them. They were arrested late last year, I believe, like October, November, December. I don't remember which month. But they were arrested on insurance fraud. Y'all remember last year, they went on vacation. Was it 2025 or 2024? It was 2024. They went on vacation with their kids. And they came home. And they, quote unquote, said that somebody robbed them. The police did the investigation and found out that not only the list of items that they said were taken, they were returned. And then these two filed 2 insurance claims, and you're not supposed to do that. You're only supposed to file 1. So that's why they are in trouble. Well, a week ago, they had a court hearing to see when they will be on trial, or I should say set their trial date. So their trial date is actually between January 25th and 29th of next year, which is going to come very, very fast. We are at the tail end of September. We're at the tail end of spring, and y'all already know how summer goes. Summer goes like this. So January is coming very, very quick, and I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm nervous for them because the evidence that's stacked against them is a lot. It's a lot. I mean, Wendy puts on a brave face on social media, but I know her and her husband are shitting bricks. You hear what I'm saying? Initially, when they were arrested, they were to be charged together, right? And Wendy and her husband tried their hardest to be tried separately. And they actually were successful the second time around. The first time they requested it, the judge denied it. And then the second time they were like, okay, you guys can be tried separately. I don't know what happened from then to now, but they are back to be tried together, which kind of gives off the whole Teresa and Joe Giudice situation. Because remember, they were charged, I think, on tax evasion fraud and business fraud, I believe it was. And again, they were tried together. And when they were found guilty and they were sentenced to prison, Teresa was able to do her year first while Joe took care of the girls. And then when she came out, then he went in. So I think that's their strategy here. They are first-time offenders, even though they frauded a lot of money. I believe it was over $400,000. You know what I mean? They are still first-time offenders. So I think they're hoping that they won't get much time and they can be, they can serve time separately. You get what I mean? So they can take care of their kids. But all the good luck to these two. I'm very nervous because I really think they're going to be found guilty. And that's just my opinion on the situation. All right, so let's move on to Miss Dorit, honey. She is not having a good week. So we already know what's been going on with her in her home. It was reported a couple of months ago that the house was going on foreclosure because, quote unquote, her and PK were not paying the loans on the house. The house is $6 million and they barely paid anything to the loan. So the company that owns the loan was going to seize the house. Now, during the reunion, Dorit was asked by Andy what's been going on with the home. And she did admit that they were trying to seize the home and foreclose it. However, PK was going to resolve the issue. But baby, apparently it was not. And in fact, the house is going on foreclosure sale. Lord, that is so hard for me to say. So let's take a look at this. So the house, again, is going on foreclosure sale and is scheduled to go on sale on June 3rd. That house is so pretty. Every time they show her living room, I should say her communal space, I just love the openness. I love a farm style house. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But baby, Dorit, if that's a style house that you like, you can find one that's more in your budget. You do not need to buy a $6 million home. But an attorney by the name of Ronald Richards has something to say about the foreclosure of the home. So let's take a look at what he has to say. Let me just scroll up a bit. So he says this: Dorit Kemsley's sale date was postponed to June 3rd, 2026 at 10:30 a.m. As we broke the story yesterday, we believe some last-minute payments by Paul Kemsley, which is PK, saved the day for Dorit. The house is owned in an LLC owned by Dorit. So this house was not purchased personally for Dorit and PK. She purchased it through her LLC. I noticed that's a thing, and I don't know if that's like a safety precaution. So just in case you don't pay the bills on your home and it's foreclosed, it doesn't affect you personally. But I noticed that. I don't know if I could do that. I would be just too scared to do it. I don't know. But I'm shocked that it's under her business entity. Excuse me. Paul does not need to save the property for Dorit. He does not, because it's under her LLC. They are legally separated. She makes more money than Paul. You see, the way they be presenting themselves is like they got all this money, and there's been rumors that their money has been funny, and it just proves with this statement. Paul ain't got it. All that traveling he doing is for what? What are you traveling for? This man travels so much from the United States to the UK, but for what? So it says here, she lives in the house and has spent most of her post-separation earnings on herself instead of servicing the loans to her LLC. Now remember, guys, that has been a big storyline on this past season of Beverly Hills. Kyle has been talking about it, how this woman is spending a lot of money and she's very concerned because she knows she don't got it. I was on Dorit's side, like, girl, mind your business. But then I also didn't realize that house was under her business name. Okay. So it said it is very likely the money Paul advanced to delay the sale will never be recovered or repaid by Dorit. So he actually did. But he only paid to postpone it to June. Why? That was just money wasted. Unless she knew that she was going to get an advancement to pay a majority of the loans off, which is a lot, you guys. She owes a lot of money on those loans. The money that he shelled out was for no reason. It was just a waste, honestly. But it says here, where are we? It says, it is irrelevant that years ago, Paul had other debts. They were married then and not separated. We are focused on the last 24 months and the evidence that we are focused on the last 24 months and the evidence that was put in the court file that is undisputed. Why I feel like I'm reading this wrong. Dorit has a spending problem and cannot service her non-conforming loans and needs to move out so the property can be sold. Now, she did say that her and the kids were going to move into a smaller house, which I think would be great. It's just her and the two kids. You don't need to be in this big $6 million house. I think, granted, I've seen $2 million homes in LA and they're really not that big. They're like bungalow style. But whatever you need to whatever you need to do for you and your kids, just do it. There's no need to be embarrassed. People go through financial difficulties all the time, sometimes multiple times through in their lifetime, and it's okay. But Dorit needs to learn how to worry about her bills first, and then whatever's left, she can spend. That's what she needs to learn. But then again, Dorit is from Connecticut, and she's not from the hood of Connecticut. She's probably from the snobby parts of Connecticut and really doesn't know anything about bills. But let's continue on reading. So it says Paul had no legal obligation to help Dorit, but he did it for the benefit of his kids and to save Dorit from herself. We believe in the next 2 weeks, Dorit will sign documents which will formalize Paul's, and then hold on, guys, because it cuts off and it doesn't show the rest. So let me go to his let's go to Ronald's page, and let me just bring it up. Hold on, let me pull it out. Let me scroll. But it says here, where are we? It says Dorit, we believe in the next 2 weeks, Dorit will sign documents which will formalize Paul's selfless acts. Meanwhile, Paul is busy on his next chapter and wants nothing more than to cut this liability out his life. First of all, that last sentence was very unnecessary. She's not a liability. She is his wife. They're still married, and the mother of his 2 kids. So whatever he believes, he still has to deal with her. Their kids are not 18 years old. How old is Jagger and Phoenix? 12 and 9 or 12 and 10. So he's gonna have to deal with her, probably just on a child support level, because she makes more than him. I don't know. Will she have to give him spousal support? I don't know. We shall see. But in fact, if it is in fact, Dorit does have a spending problem, Dorit needs to see somebody about that, because no matter what she's going to do as far as like her home, whether she goes to a $5 million house or she goes to a $1 million house, she's going to have issues if she does not pay her bills first and stop spending. And I have to say this, Dorit makes quite a good of a coin on Beverly Hills Housewives. She's been there for 9, maybe 10 seasons. I believe she's making over $1 million. There should be absolutely no excuse as to why she can't pay her bills. There's now no amount of clothes, designer bags, designer shoes in this world that I'm not going to pay my bills. First of all, I'm not even a designer person. I could care less about designer stuff. Honestly, it's the same stuff with just designer name. They're all made in China. But I'll be damned to buy a $10,000 purse before I pay my mortgage where me and my kids live under. Absolutely not. Good luck to her, honey. We'll see what's going to happen as far as the next season. Will this be on the next season of Beverly Hills? There were rumors that she wasn't going to be on there, but I just thought that was just asinine because the whole season was really about her and the other chick. I forgot the other chick's name, the newcomer. Everybody else didn't have a storyline. So I highly doubt that Dorit is not going to be on the show anymore. But again, good luck to her. But let's move on to the Atlanta Housewives. If y'all have been watching the Housewives of Atlanta like myself, I know you've had it up to the moon with Pinky talking about her bankruptcy. Every episode she's talking about her bankruptcy. And I have had it up to the moon with it. But baby, there was some news reporting. This bankruptcy is not going good for her. Let's read what they had to say. So this is from The Girls Are Fighting. I don't know what kind of page this is. But anyway, allegedly, it says slutty vegan founder Pinky Cole's debt rises to $4 million. Remember, she's been talking about it. You know, she owned her business. Then if she didn't own her business, and they pretty much sank it into major debt. She was able to recover the business. But then once she recovered the business and it's under her, she realized how much debt she was in from the business and filed for bankruptcy. I somewhat believe that, not fully believe that. You know what I mean? Y'all have to remember when Slutty Vegan became popular, she, instead of her gradually going big, she decided to open up 14 other restaurants, which put her in significant debt. But let's read what this blogger has to say. It says, Slutty Vegan founder Pinky Cole has updated her bankruptcy filing to reflect nearly $4 million in total debt. According to amend court documents filed on May 19, increasing from the approximately $3.6 million previously reported. So $400,000 was added to the court documents. It said the updated filing provides a more detailed breakdown of Cole's creditors across credit cards, suppliers, real estate obligations, legal claims, and other outstanding debt. This is something that I fear because I am a business owner and I'm getting back into my business and I want it to be as big as it possibly can. But I have a very big thing on owing people. It's just something that makes my ass itch. I do not like owing anybody. I would prefer to put the money up front instead of owing so much money, because when you do credit, you do loans, and you just keep doing it, and it piles up, but then your business doesn't match what you owe, baby, things like this happen. And it's a very scary thing and it's very embarrassing. So it says here, Cole reports owing more than $70,000 across 2 American Express credit cards, an additional $12,000 on an Apple card. Okay. Among her business-related debts, Cole owes $107,625 to restaurant suppliers Edward Don and Company. You see what I'm saying? It's credit stuff. It's just, no, honey. Which is currently suing her in Henry County State Court. The company also claims $12,312 in attorney fees and $15,498 in interest tied to unpaid invoices. You see what I'm saying? I think when she started to take all these loans out, her business started to go down. She was taking the loans out to thinking that if she buys all this stuff and she keeps the supplies in, that more people were going to come to the restaurant, and they didn't. Like I said before about Pinky and her restaurant, veganism was a fad for a lot of people, and it was a fad. A lot of people, it was just a trend for them, and they decided to go back to meat. They didn't want to live the vegan lifestyle anymore, and this is where her business probably went down. Also, too, not just people with fat, but there's a lot of people who decide to go with this lifestyle, but for health reasons, they had to eat meat again. The vegan lifestyle is not for everybody. It's just not. And when it comes to this lifestyle, you have to be very, very, very careful on how you expand your restaurant. Look what's happening. But let's get back to what the news is reporting. What's going on with my mouse? Hold on, y'all. Come on. Okay. So it says here, hold on, let me bring it back up. It says real estate obligations include, oh my Lord, $363,399 owed to JLL Realty for unpaid rent, according to the bankruptcy documents. Cole also lists $250,000 owed to CIH Group, an Atlanta-based investment management firm. I mean, at what point did you want to not stop? At what point? Why? That is a lot. Additionally, smaller debts include obligations to Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, dentistry for children, Henry County EMS, and various roadway toll authorities in Georgia and Ohio. I'm assuming these are charitable debts that she ain't pay. Earlier filings in February showed approximately $1.2 million in small business administration loan debt and $192,000 in Georgia state tax obligations. Baby, Lord have mercy. The amended filings expand the scope of creditors as the bankruptcy case continues. Cole, who is currently appearing on the Real Housewives of Atlanta, which is a big fail, has previously said that Slutty Vegan's rapid expansion contributed to rising operational costs and financial strain despite strong revenue growth. Listen, like I said, she expanded too quickly. If she had 1 restaurant, 2 restaurants, and it was going big, Why didn't you just do a third and a fourth? Why did you have to have food trucks, 14 restaurants? Like, was that all necessarily needed? If the people of Georgia really wanted to come to your restaurant, they would have drove to your restaurant. I'm not doing 14 restaurants on a fad lifestyle. I'm sorry if you're a vegan, I'm sorry to say that. It's a fad lifestyle. People thought, oh, I'm going to go vegan. I'm going to lose weight faster. No, no, no. No, no, no. That's not necessarily true. Look what's happening. Baby, all the money that I read off is giving me hives. I don't know what she's going to do. I'm not too familiar when it comes to bankruptcy or business. Chapter 11, I think bankruptcy is, I think that's what she filed. I don't know if all of this is going to be resolved. Only time will tell. Good luck to her, but this is embarrassing. It honestly is embarrassing, and I really hope that she learns her lesson. Keep it small. Again, keep it within the means of your business. All these charges that you were making and you just knew that you couldn't back it up, it's not a good look. Don't be a Tony Braxton, baby. We don't need you to file another Chapter 11 bankruptcy after this all gets resolved. Keep it small, and that's it. All right, y'all. So that is it for the Housewife news. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, give it a comment down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.